Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Trek YT here, or Nick, back at it again with another brand new video. And in today's video, we're going to be transforming your typical Minecraft noob house basically into a lot better looking house, because I know there's a lot of people out there that struggle with knowing how to build in the first place. So we're going to do this for the beginners, and we're going to make a video on exactly how to do it in 5 simple easy steps-ish, kind of easy, sort of a little advanced, but I'll walk through with it with you guys so you guys can understand a little bit better on how to do this. So without further ado, guys, let's jump right into this video. So starting off right now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to elongate the house and make it a little bit longer because this house right now looks a little weird. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another section on. You can do this by hand, but I'm using World Edit because it makes, for the sake of the video, to go a little faster. So what I literally did is I copied and pasted that part on the left side, turned it 90 degrees, and put it on that side. So that way it basically was just conjoining L. And so basically that just adds a little bit more of a shape to the house instead of just a normal rectangle. And so what I'm doing now is I'm going to outline the entire house with, I guess, logs. So I'm putting it one out in like a diagonal way from the corners, just because it gives me room to add depth and detail afterwards. So this is our first step, is just outlining major pieces. And as right here, that little gap that I left right there, where I didn't put it on the corner, that's where my door is going to be. That's another thing that I wanted to outline. So outlining is our first step into transforming this house into something that's actually presentable rather than a normal NPC village house. So next step is our roof, and I'm going to try to keep things pretty simple. The NPC village is basically the roof that we're going to be going for, but one thing that the NPC village does not do is it does not have overhang. That's one thing in Minecraft that's a little subtle change, that you can actually make something look dramatically different by just adding that little overhang. By now having that roof come a little bit off the log on both sides, on one side and the other one coming towards us, that does add a little bit more of a, I guess, detail, because realistically most houses have overhangs to prevent from water damage. So if we can keep something a little bit more realistic, it kind of just, in my opinion, makes things look a little bit better. So one thing that I'm going to do right now is I'm going to do something that's pretty important, is I'm outlining another roof. So in most houses don't just have like, I guess, normal roofs that go boom boom boom. Like, I don't know how to explain that, but they normally, if they have some part that accentuates outward, so if it's like a window, they have like a little roof that protrudes out of the other roof. So right now I have this roof right here that you're looking at in front of you, that's going to be like our little focal point to outline that the door is going to be right below it. So basically this is our roof. One other thing I want to talk about is that little in the corner where I met up, I put solid blocks instead of stair blocks. That's another way to add a little bit more detail. So now we have a completed roof. It's pretty simple. It's basically everything that is in an NPC village, except we just added overhangs and then we added one part that extrudes outwards. So our next step is going to be detailing each wall, and you can do this basically symmetrical on each side, or you can change it up like I'm going to do. So first things first, if you're going to be transforming an NPC village house like I did, you're going to want to delete the regular glass, because stained glass is just, in my opinion, way superior because it's there, so why not use it? So first things first is I outline my window frame. That's a big thing. You want to actually accentuate that it's a window. So if you can, I guess, draw your eye towards the window with surrounding the outside of the window with, I guess, different blocks that look really good together. And so one thing that I'm going to talk about right now has nothing to do with the build, but it's just building process, is you can see I messed up. Not really messed up. I didn't mess up. I just experimented and found something that didn't look good to me. So that's something that you're going to have to, I guess, get used to, is building is sort of an experimental process. You find out what blocks look good together. So I ended up going with something a lot more simpler. I put a flower bed, put trapdoors on it. That's a really great idea for a flower bed. And then I just throw 2 little details up top and some buttons on it. And that's basically one side of our house. Now I'm gonna not go ahead and show you every single side of me detailing it in a cinematic form, because I just want to let you guys experiment with, I guess, detailing on your own. I am going to show you that in this process right here, I do a lot of little changes, because I find that I can't find what looks right. And that's one thing you have to realize in building, is it's not just going to immediately happen. You have to play with things. I keep saying that because that's what I do. I play with blocks, find out what looks good together, and then eventually I find something that I think looks suitable, and then I just go with it. And so in this build, I'm trying to go a little bit more simplistic. I'm trying to do something that's a little bit more achievable for the more beginner builder, because a lot of the things that I've done in the past are a little bit more detailed, so I want to try to lay back a little bit and get a little less detailed. So on this window in front of you, it's basically just I outline the top and the bottom and then put some trapdoors on it. And then one little, I guess, little more advanced thing is I put a little organic stairs of cobblestone right there just to add a little bit more detail. So here's just a little panorama of all the details that I did on the entire house. As you can see, basically everything is sort of in the same style. And so one thing that actually helps with that is, I guess, block choice. That's, I guess, almost our third step, I guess, is block choice, or in our fourth step, I guess, I don't know, fourth or third, whatever. It's basically the entire thing. Basically, block choice or palette, I guess, choice is a very important thing in Minecraft. You have to find blocks that work really well together. And so normally the different shades of blocks that are normally like darker blocks work really well together, or lighter blocks work really well together, or browns or grays, they all work really well together. If you can find something that's sort of like itself, so like stones, all the gray blocks work really well together. So like that's basically what I'm trying to say is I have a whole palette video. If you guys want to check that out, it should be somewhere in the description. If you guys want to check that out, it's down there below if you haven't already seen that. But palette choices, I guess, are another step. It's a very important thing in Minecraft, is choosing the right palette. So if you have any, I guess, questions about that, just check out that video down below. For our next step, we move in onto the inside. So first things first, you're going to want to break out the old inside part because a lot of it was filled in. So when you're building just a house in general, get some height into your ceiling. Nobody wants to be inside of a 3 high or maybe even just a 2 high ceiling. You want to have some vaulted ceilings. That makes Minecraft houses look a lot better on the inside. And so next, you want to do a floor choice. One thing that I see a lot of people doing is they use the same colored block or same block choice as the walls for their floor. That's a big no-no. You want to make something look a little bit more realistic, so go with some wood planks that's sort of like a hardwood flooring or something. And so now I'm just adding a bunch of random details that are sort of like house-like details. So I add a bed, I add some like kitchen set here in a little bit. So basically all these details are just trying to make it seem a little bit more realistic, like it's an actual house. And so I add that bed, I add a little, I guess, custom little carpet right there. So I guess it's just a little funky shaped carpet. Adds a little bit of detail to that already blank, I guess, canvas right there that was just all wood planks. It just adds a little bit of variation. And then I go ahead and I add some paintings on walls that are really blank that I can't really add any like block choice detail with, but this adds a little bit of detail by just having a little painting there. So that's basically the inside of this house. So next up is easily our most difficult step to do. It's terraforming. That is a huge step in Minecraft that just makes your house 10 times better if you can add some scenery around your house that really just makes your house pop. Because if it's just like it was before, just a plain house in the middle of just an open area, it kind of looks weird. So if you can start adding, I guess, environmental details around the outside of the house, it makes it look a lot better. So what I'm doing right now is a little custom tree. I've never really shown a full me building a custom tree, but as you can see, it's basically just placing a bunch of random leaves, trying to get, I guess, the perfect shape in my head. It really is only just coming out of my head. I have no real, I guess, thing that I follow. I kind of just place blocks until I find something that looks good. So basically, custom tree, little cheaty little thing that I do is I place a regular tree, I placed a couple blocks off the ground, and then I just start going around it, adding more leaves, adding more logs to make it look a little bit more realistic. This is a little cheat thing that I do, and I try to keep my thing not at all geometric. I try to make it as organic as possible, so that way it looks really realistic, because trees are not organic, or are not, I guess, symmetrical unless they're trimmed or something like that. And at the bottom, I like to add a root systems, because if your tree in real life is somewhere, there's normally roots that are exposed on the ground, and then I just throw leaves around it and then grass around it to make it also blend in a little bit more. And so another, I guess, little thing, cheaty little thing for terraforming is just bone mealing everything. That's another thing that I like to do. And now what I'm going to do is another little cheaty thing, since I have world edit, but you don't have to do this because most of you probably will not be building in world edit, is I like to copy my tree and then just repaste it somewhere else. So basically, I ended up just adding a couple more trees, added bone meal basically everywhere, and right now I'm finishing up putting in the path. This is a little trick that I like to use with world edit. I can definitely do a world edit video since I know there's a couple of people that want it, but basically I just create a little, I guess, palette type thing, copy and paste it, and then I use a little brush technique, and then I just paste it on like that. So basically that's a pretty simple way of doing it, but you can do this all by hand. I did all of this just for the sake of video because I wanted to show you guys, I guess, a little quicker way of doing it. So basically this is it. We're going to do a little walkthrough in person, and then that's basically going to be the video. As you guys can see, we made major changes on this house. Basically this entire area looks a lot better. So if you guys have any further questions that you guys want to ask from me, basically building questions, just drop them down in the comment section below. I'd be happy to answer them. So if you guys did enjoy this video, definitely drop a like on it. If it was helpful, let me know, because I know there's a lot of people that have been commenting saying that my videos have been helpful, and that makes me really happy that I'm actually, I guess, sort of helpful to other people on learning how to build. So if you guys did enjoy this, again, drop a like on it. And as always, guys, I love you all. See you guys later. Peace out.